Leo, 2026 is a year that stretches your vision first and then demands that you live up to it. This is not about reinvention for attention or dramatic gestures meant to win approval. It is about meaning, direction, and personal truth. You are being pushed to expand your world, your understanding, and your sense of purpose, and then to stand firmly in who you are without apology. The year does not reward empty confidence. It rewards alignment. From the beginning, there's a feeling that your worldview is shifting. At the end of January, Neptune enters Aries and begins dissolving the certainty you once had about where you were going and why. Beliefs you relied on soften. Old philosophies lose their emotional pull. You may feel drawn toward new ideas, spiritual paths, or long-term visions that promise meaning rather than comfort. At the same time, uncertainty can creep in. Questions replace answers. Direction feels inspired but undefined. For Leo, this can feel unsettling. You are used to knowing where you stand. Neptune removes rigid belief systems so something more authentic can emerge. You are being asked to dream bigger, but also to question whether a vision has substance or is simply idealized. Not every path that looks exciting is meant to be followed. Discernment becomes essential. In February, Saturn follows Neptune into Aries and anchors this expansion in reality. This is where inspiration meets responsibility. Commitments related to education, travel, legal matters, publishing, or long-term planning become serious. You may be required to make concrete decisions about your future direction and accept the consequences of your choices. Saturn tests your integrity. If a belief is borrowed or outdated, it becomes heavy to carry. If it is true, it becomes a foundation. This is a defining lesson for Leo. Leadership does not come from confidence alone. It comes from conviction. You are learning that authority grows when you live by what you believe, even when it limits your options. This is the moment where your vision stops being an idea and starts becoming a path. As this internal alignment deepens, the first eclipse of the year arrives in February with an annular solar eclipse in Aquarius, activating your relationships. Partnerships of all kinds reach a turning point. A new connection may enter your life, or an existing one may change its form. Balance, equality, and mutual respects come into focus. This eclipse challenges how you share power. For Leo, independence is natural, but this year teaches you that strength does not mean dominance. It means knowing when to stand alone and when to stand together. You are learning that being seen does not require overshadowing others. True partnership enhances your light rather than competing with it. In early March, a total lunar eclipse in Virgo turns attention toward money, values, and self-worth. A financial situation reaches clarity. You may recognize where you have been undervaluing yourself, overgiving, or settling for less than you deserve. Practical matters demand honesty. This eclipse is grounding. It reminds you that confidence without stability eventually collapses. You are asked to build material security that reflects your real value, not just survival or pride. For Leo, this is about aligning self-worth with action. As spring advances, the social landscape begins to change. By the end of April, Uranus enters Gemini, and your future plans take unexpected turns. Friendships evolve rapidly, communities shift. You may detach from groups that no longer stimulate you mentally and gravitate toward circles that encourage originality and growth. Conversations spark new ideas. The future feels less fixed and more open. Uranus here reminds you that your evolution does not happen in isolation. The people you surround yourself with shape your direction. Freedom becomes essential. You are no longer interested in roles that limit your expression or environments that dull your curiosity. By mid-year, everything changes when Jupiter enters Leo, and this marks one of the most important turning points of your entire year. This is your expansion phase, but it arrives in a far more mature form than in the past. Confidence returns, not as ego or performance, but as a deep, embodied sense of self-belief. You no longer need to prove who you are. You remember it. Visibility increases naturally. Opportunities come toward you without force. People notice you because you are aligned, not because you are demanding attention. This transit restores your faith in yourself after months of questioning and restructuring. Jupiter in your sign encourages growth through authenticity. You are invited to take up space, to lead, to create, and to express yourself fully without shrinking to maintain approval or peace. Optimism returns, but this time it is earned. It is built on experience, self-awareness, and truth. You feel life opening again, not because circumstances suddenly become perfect, but because you are finally standing in a version of yourself that feels real. Jupiter reminds you that when Leo leads from the heart rather than from image, expansion follows naturally. In August, the energy intensifies dramatically with a total solar eclipse in Leo. This is a personal rebirth. An identity you have outgrown falls away. A new version of you steps forward. This change may reflect in your appearance, attitude, direction, or sense of purpose. What matters is that something fundamental shifts. This eclipse asks you to consciously author your life. No more performing roles that no longer fit. No more leading from habit. You are stepping into leadership with intention. Courage is no longer optional. Authenticity becomes non-negotiable. Toward the end of August, a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces closes the eclipse cycle by addressing deep emotional and financial ties. Shared resources, trust, intimacy, and vulnerability come into focus. An emotional bond or financial dependency reaches resolution. You are asked to release control and allow transformation to happen at a deeper level. This moment teaches you surrender. Power does not come from holding everything together, it comes from knowing when to let go. Emotional depth strengthens your authority rather than weakening it. By the end of 2026, Leo, you are standing taller, clearer, and more aligned than before. This year taught you that expansion only works when it is rooted in truth. When your beliefs, boundaries, and self-worth align, the world responds naturally. The stage ahead is yours, but now you step onto it with purpose, not performance.